Hello and welcome. For today's adventure, I find myself here deep in the forest of Kettering, Ohio, here just outside of Dayton. And for today's story, we are going to be discussing the tragic death of 16-year-old Miss Peggy Harmeson. Unfortunately, her story starts right here inside of this forest here. And it's a rather interesting story. And today we are going to visit the site of where her death happened, and we are going to visit her final resting place and just tell her story, because I haven't really seen much about it and I feel like her story should be told. Let's talk about it. So I'm in the forest here, hills and dales overlooking a golf course, and I'm coming up to what is known as the Patterson Castle, also known as Frankenstein's Castle, and also known as the Witch's Tower. Inside of these walls is where Miss Peggy Harmeson lost her life. You can see why they call it Frankenstein's Castle. This thing is massive. Now, as I had said before, this does overlook a golf course. Can't really see it for the trees, but it is right there behind. The last time I was here checking out this castle, I had some unexplained experience happen. I was just kind of walking around, taking pictures, filming for a different video at the time. And I was over here looking into this window, trying to see if I could see anything. And apparently people have witnessed apparitions inside of the window here. And I remember just standing here, and all of a sudden my phone just turned completely off. Now, my battery was pretty much full at the time, and I didn't really know how or why it happened, but by the time I got back to the car, when I was parked down there somewhere, my phone had turned back on. And I guess people have done some paranormal research here, some investigations, and they have come across some very strange things. I'm gonna kind of walk around here and give you guys a little bit of a perspective as to what it looks like. Now, back in the day, didn't used to look like this. They have repainted like the bottom parts of it, and that door never used to be there. They cemented it, and people have broken through that too, but they finally got it to where people can't get into it. People would get in there and graffiti it, do God knows what else in there. But this is, I'm gonna catch a sun glare. Windows up there. I guess there are stairs inside that go all the way up to the very top. Now, there are paths that come up to this so people can walk around it. There's one right there, and there's one behind me. People have walking their dogs and bringing their kids up here for a little bit of a hike. But I really want to know what the top of it looks like. I don't know how many steps are in here, but I do know that it's a spiral staircase. And the architecture on this thing is just crazy. Definitely got that look, aside from them, repainting this bottom half here. Okay, there are a couple different versions of this story, and I'm gonna go with what makes most sense to me. The story goes, in May 1967, Peggy and the dude she was with, Ronnie Stevens, they were walking through the park here and they decided to seek shelter during a thunderstorm, and they went through here to take cover. They got all the way up to the steps and they just kind of hung out. Well, there was a metal railing around the stairs, and legend has it as that she was on the 11th stair. The lightning struck the tower, got her. She died of burns, obviously, and pretty much killed her instantly. But I also read that they found her, she was still alive, and she died in the hospital. So I don't know which one is the truth, but either way, she still passed away due to the lightning from this. The other guy she was with, he got burns as well, but he didn't get it as bad as her, so he ended up living a little bit longer than she did. But there's not really much else to the story, just aside from they were here during a thunderstorm, and then they said that there was a lightning storm. Same thing, pretty much. But I really wish I could see in there. See at least what the stairs look like. Too high though. These ones are the lowest ones on the side of the castle here. And the other ones are way up there. Okay, now that you know the story behind the death of Miss Peggy Harmeson, I feel it's only right that we should go pay our respects to her. She's buried in the Cavalry Cemetery just 5 minutes down the road from here. Let's go. All right, so here I am at the Cavalry Cemetery just outside of Dayton, Ohio here. And today we are going to find the final resting place of Miss Peggy Harmeson. I know she's here somewhere. She's laid to rest here. And I've been up here once before. I'm trying to remember exactly where. I think I have a general idea. I'm looking for section 36. And we're just gonna kind of explore the cemetery and see if we can find her and pay our respects. This here is Cavalry Cemetery, and I'm up at the top of the hill, and I have found section 36. Now, I read online that there is a marker next to her grave telling the story of what happened that night. And we're gonna see if we can find it. I see a yellow marker next to a grave, so I'm trying to be respectful and walk past these graves here and get to it and see if it is her. And yes, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Peggy Ann Harmeson, February 27th, 1951 to May 17th, 1967. Right next to her grave here is this little marker. It says Margaret Peggy Ann Harmeson. Notable persons: on June 14th, 1967, Margaret Peggy Ann Harmeson was 16, a sophomore at Bellbrook High School, when she decided to take a walk to the lookout tower at Hills and Dales Park with her friend Ron. While they were inside the tower, a lightning storm began to flare up. As they attempted to exit, Margaret was coming down first. She was fatally struck with the full force of the lightning as they reached the tower door. Ron survived with burns on his head and chest. But one thing that doesn't make any sense here is her death date, May 17th, 1967, but this sign here says June 14th, 1967. So if anybody in the comments below can explain that, if they know more to the story than I do, feel free to drop a comment below and let me know. So Miss Peggy isn't too far from the road. You can see that I'm parked right there. If you want to ever make a visit out here, just look for the tree. You can't really miss the marker, as it's really the only marker in this section. But here she is. Peggy here is laid to rest right next to her parents, Mary and Roy. We're gonna take a second here and check out their final resting place. Mary, September 26 to 2008. Roy, 1926 to 1994. And they got married September 3rd, 1949. Parents of Peggy, Tim, Nancy, Steve, and Sue. And right here, I believe that Roy is a World War II veteran. He was in the Navy, December 3rd, 1926 to October 25th, 1994. Mr. Roy, thank you for your service, sir. And I have brought along with me a penny. A penny simply means that I have visited here. I know different things at grave sites, when you leave things, mean different things. So I read online that pennies means you simply visited. So I would like to leave a penny right here. Rest in peace, Miss Peggy Harmeson. Okay, so don't quote me on this, but the boy she was with that night, Ronnie Stevens, apparently he is laid to rest somewhere in the cemetery, and I tried searching for it for the longest time, and unfortunately I could not figure out where he is laid to rest, because I would really like to incorporate his gravesite in this video, but unfortunately couldn't find it. But he might be here at the cemetery. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that, but if anybody has any information on that, please feel free to let me know down in the comment section. I would love to know where his final resting place is at. All right, everybody, I think that is going to be a wrap on the story of Miss Peggy Harmeson. Unfortunately, her ending is very sad, but rest in peace to her and Ronnie Stevens, who both, well, he didn't meet his demise that way, but she did. Very sad. So this video is dedicated to them. Even though he lived a little bit longer than she did, he's still involved with the story. That being said, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know what you think down in the comments section. It's been an interesting day. The Frankenstein castle was slightly creepy, just a little bit. But I loved the story. I don't know why, it just stuck out to me. But we're gonna end things here. And remember, guys, just take care, be safe, and be kind to each other. That being said, I will see you guys on the next one.